would
I
be
mean, it
the
seems like
one?
she was a good sport about it.
Who do you think would be the one distance runner who, when they're sitting on a plane and they say, "Hey, I'm a professional runner," in their distance, and that person says, "Oh, really? What's your mile time?" They kind of would be like, oh, telling them a mile time is going to make them think I'm not good, but I am good. Like who has
Um,
like,
Basically, whose mile PR is way out of whack for how good they are.
yeah. Because I feel like that's always
Ryan
true. Like,
Hall.
oh, well, I have a good 1500, right? But no, I can't say that.
Oh, I mean, Ryan Hall never broke 4, but then again, Ryan Hall is a bodybuilder now, so I don't think any because if you said 401, people are going to be amazed. I think
True.
if you said 352, people are going to think you're lying.
Yeah.
No one runs that fast. 352? What? What are you
What was
talking
that?
about?
3 laps? You only did 3 laps,
Yeah,
buddy. I
yeah.
remember I
Well,
was in my freshman year of college. There was my neighbor in my dorm, the dorm next to mine, female. We became friends, and I told her that I ran track, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I ran in high school." And she told me I ran and she said she ran a 4:30 mile, and I
yeah.
was like, "You did not run a 4:30 mile. If you did, you would not be
It's a
here right now." Like not like, but she didn't
Yeah,
know. I
but
think
you
she
don't want to
probably
have that.
like ran 3 laps or something.
Yeah, you don't want to have that conversation. I remember working with the guy who said his friend ran 750 in the 2 mile, and I was like, "Is your friend Hicham El Garouge?" And he like didn't get the joke, and I never talked to him again. But it's like that's why you want to avoid it. Like
Yeah,
there's some conversations you just don't because if you're so deep in it, if you're such a nerd and you know all the intricacies of the sport and you can smell out when people are BSing you, it's not fun. And then you don't want to be the conversation police, but you also Garouge never broke 8 in the 2 miles. Daniel Coleman, I should have had that. But you don't want to be the conversation police, but you don't want to think less of people when they're just making up random times. I'm sure everybody who's run has a story of someone they met at some point who said that they did some and it's never like I got 6th in state, right? Because it's like okay, maybe they did. It's always like you said. It's I ran a 4:30 mile when I was 8 years old, or I ran 750 for 2 miles. It's always something so far that you can't let it go. Even though you want
I
to, you just
didn't. I
cannot let it go.
I spent a good 3 days talking to this person, telling her like, "You did not run a 4:30 mile," and she's like, "Yeah, I did. I did it in gym class. That's what they said I ran. I ran 4:30." And I'm like, "You did not run 4:30. If you did," like, she just didn't believe me, and she was convinced. And I think to this day, she probably still thinks she ran a 4:30 high school mile, but then for some reason never got a D1 scholarship. It's just
Yeah.
wild. Like, come on.
The weirdest are the people who say they ran in college and you they don't realize you just like check that pretty easily.
Yeah,
And not club like I did. Or you can find my results out there too, but like they say, "Oh yeah, I was on the team." Because you ask them, "Oh, you're on the team?" "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then, "All right." Then you go back and you can actually verify these things because especially because of the internet. But
yeah.
yeah,
But
what do people
TFERS only
do
goes
in
back to like 2010 or
That's what
2009.
I was gonna say. The '90s and the '80s, just a wild, wild. Like
World
if you got
records.
called, yeah, if you got called out on a lie, you were a really bad liar back then because you could have said I ran 8:35 for the 2 mile, but when you start talking 750, then it's like, wait, you just took it a step too far because I can't verify your 8:35, but I can sure as hell verify your 750. So,
Here, we
oh
need,
man,
we need to figure out a time that people can say they ran a mile in, that people who are into the sport won't have like, what's like the time you could hear from a human, from just a guy, and he says his mile PR, where you won't, will you believe it? Well, it's good, but not too good. Like, what's that? I guess if they said they ran 4:45, that's like what, when will you
well,
start being like, I don't know.
here's the thing. Like, I have to be. We had a friend, right? Adam O, who used to work here,
Yeah.
and he did not look fast. I'm just gonna be straight up. Adam, if you're listening, I love you. Shout out to Des Moines. But then he told me his high school times, and they were really fast. And I verified, and obviously I know he's my friend, so I knew he wasn't lying. So part of it's like you got to get over your own stuff, right? You got to
Yeah,
get
that's
over
true.
your own like. There's no way this person would have ever been that much faster than me to draw a line. Now I don't. What did he run? I'm trying to look up what he ran in high school, but it was
Do you run in
something.
the
It was something
420s
fat. Yeah, he was. I mean, he was not good in college. Which like you look at his
by
his T first
choice?
page and it's like, yeah, that was clearly intentional. But in high school, he was good. I'm trying to find his mile split page here. Um, so I don't know. Like I guess it kind of depends on the person, but also just I mean how a person looks when they're 25 or 30 or 35 is different than how they were in high school. Dang it, I don't know.
Well, okay, maybe I'll take away like what you did, because what you did in high school could always be great because we all get old and fat and whatever. But what about like, oh yeah, I ran this 5K last week. So like, what would be a 5K time that a person could say they ran that's good, but not good at like if you're sitting on a plane and say, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I ran like a 14:10 last week. You're like, no, you didn't. You did not run a
No, yeah, yeah,
14:10.
yeah, yeah. No, I think it would be I think I'd draw it at about 16 flat is where
16
I would draw
flat.
the line. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the thing. Say
Because
you ran 16 flat, and people believe it and think, yeah, you're pretty in shape,
because listen,
but they won't
listen,
check
the
it.
people the people who are that serious aren't going to be in a hurry to tell you because they know how insignificant that is in the larger
Yeah,
scheme of things. That's why it's a clue. Like if you sit next to Bekele on a flight, he's not going to tell you his 5K PR unless you really after it. You got to really be prodding. You got to be really I don't know. You have to have maybe extra like you gave him extra pretzels or something, and he's just feeling real nice. So the people who are going to offer up the times are the people who are less likely to be that familiar with the sport. That's where I say there's a correlation between it. Like, did you ever go offer your times to people? It was like the last thing I wanted to say, even when I
yeah,
was slightly fast. No, because you don't.
yeah.
Because you sound
Because
either cocky, or you sound cocky, or or you're going to get into a conversation with someone who doesn't know anything about it, and then they're going to ask you a million other questions, or they ran too, and they're way faster than you, and then you just sound like a complete idiot because you're like, oh, I'm sitting next to Michael Johnson. Like, there,
or I'm
it's a
sitting
it's a
next
no win
to
situation.
Olympic bronze medalist Molly said.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, look, this guy he could have been worse for him, right? I mean, I guess he says how I need to train high mileage. Um,
So
I
he
just
was
would have
like,
loved
he
to
was
have heard the
complimenting Molly's training log.
training.
Basically, he's like,
Yes,
oh, this
yes,
this woman does it right, and he just happens to be like, so
yes.
basically it was a whole conversation of Molly being affirmed. Like, yeah, thanks for
My
affirming
mileage.
what I do. Thanks for telling me what my
Yeah,
coach did was a good move. The Olympic bronze medal wasn't
exactly.
enough. The guy next to me on the airline saying I'm doing a good job. That's what all I needed. Hey, sometimes you
Yeah,
just need that affirmation from a stranger saying, "Hey, you're doing good. You're doing all right. You're doing all right."
yeah. I mean, okay, so someone in chat says where you catch the lies usually when they give you two PBs that don't line up, two performances that are nowhere
Ooh,
near equivalent. Yeah, I could see that. I could see someone saying, "Well, what's your marathon time?" "Oh, I ran, you know, 3:10." "What's your best 5K?" 15:02. Wait, what? 15:02? I don't know about that.
yeah,
I don't know
that's a
about
good
that.
point.
I just think this is something that's gone on for as long as time. It's easier to spot it now, verify it because everybody's results are online. But I can tell you, I've never met anybody who's really good who's in a hurry to talk about their times. Just, just that's the reality of it, right? They're not
I
going to go out
mean,
there and offer their time.
you know who's